Samhain, October 31st, is an ancient Celtic festival that evolved into Halloween that we know today. Many decorate with pumpkins, bones, skulls, brooms, masks, witches, and scarecrows. People normally celebrate by having costume parties and taking their children to trick or treat, bonfires, or haunted houses. But for people in the pagan and witchcraft world, it's a little bit more intimate for us. We honor our ancestors, perform rituals to communicate with the spirits. We also perform rituals for letting go and releasing, renewal and rebirth. It is believed that on this day, the veil between the spirit world and the living were at its thinnest, allowing the spirit world to visit our earthly realm. For me, I decorate with a lot of divination tools like pendulums and Ouija boards, which I don't use and I don't advise it, but I do have them there as a symbol of divination. Tarot decks and crystals. For me, preparing my memorial altar is my main focus, and preparing a family meal for the day are the two main things that I prepare months before actual Samhain. Every Samhain is different, and this year I have decided to highlight the divination tools that I have and use that as my main focal point. It's a time that I feel like they are coming to visit for the day, and I prepare as if they are. Every year the altar will be a little different, but focusing on my ancestors and those that have passed away always remains the same. For me, it's a day to celebrate them because it is also considered the witch's new year. I usually will do a tarot reading for the entire year, connecting to my ancestors and then pulling a card for each month. And before I show you my finished altar, I do want to talk about the fact that there are people that do not have family or are estranged from their family. And I want to give you a couple of ideas of how you can celebrate this beautiful festival with other ideas. Other alternatives are celebrating and honoring deities, nature or spirits, historical figures or Hollywood idols that you had admired, or pets that have passed on. When I first got sober, I didn't have any pictures of any of my ancestors, only of my husband who died in 2017 and my best friend who died exactly a year later in 2018. So I used them and their pictures as the focal point, and I placed things that represented my Sicilian and my Bohemian heritage, and my Book of Shadows, which had all of the memories and secrets of my Romany family. This was my first altar in my home in sobriety. The next year, I had my husband's ashes and I placed them on the altar, and things began to evolve from there. Something magical happened during this process. I began to get pictures from family members who saw my altars on Facebook, and they sent me pictures of my ancestors. Even family members that didn't have me on Facebook all of a sudden sent me pictures. I know deep in my heart that my ancestors were pleased with my altar. And so there were so many pictures that I didn't have a big enough altar, and I decided to make a memorial board. I created the memorial board with the photos that I did have, and of the people of photos that I didn't have, I placed their names on the candle in front of my memorial board. Each year, I added a new photo that was given to me to my altar. Even family members from Italy and Sicily sent me photos for my altar. It was probably the most magical experience that I've ever had. This was last year's altar, and I have every photo that I had on that candle, and then some. This year, I sized it down a little, and I am going to either come up with a bigger altar or another alternative for all the pictures of the people that I love and have been honored to be a part of their life or their bloodline. And this is my finished altar. I hope you like it. If you would like to make a memorial board, all I did was grab a frame from the Goodwill. I found a picture with a beautiful frame, took out the picture, and started to fit the pictures into the inside of the cardboard to decide exactly how I wanted it to lay out. Then I took the pictures out and covered the backing of the picture with material that I liked. I marked the top to make sure that I would know exactly what part was going to be the top and which is the bottom. I stretched the material that was thick. It was a thicker material and it was stretchy, so I stretched it around the board and glued it in to the frame. I used a hot glue gun to glue it in, but then I reinforced it with E6000 because I knew that it was going to last long after I was gone because it would be handed down to my son. The material and the accessories all came from the Goodwill. I found these ornate pins, and the material was actually a costume of a knight that I cut to fit the frame. I added some special messages that my friend had given me, and I added the tarot card that represented my husband, and I put the photo of the Ouija board in there to represent communication with my ancestors. You can add old jewelry of someone that has passed away or little momentums that remind you of them. I added the Bohemian. I had it printed out that I got off the internet and put that up by my grandfather because that was his nationality. Last year, before I had my YouTube channel, I taught my sponsor how to make her own memorial board, and she did that at my house last year. She did a great job, and she added a mirror on there to represent that she too will die someday. Memento mori, remember you must die. After I made my memorial board, I made one for my son in remembrance of his dad. His dad loved the street life and he loved to gamble. So I found at a Goodwill an old Las Vegas board game. So I took some of the pieces from the game and used them on there. And I have a godson who spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, and that was my husband's favorite place to go. And he sent me actual decks of cards from Las Vegas and some chips from Las Vegas. And we're a very dark humored family, and my husband wasn't a saint, if you can't figure that out by looking at this board. But there was a time in his life that he made money illegally. And so my godson asked me if I wanted this particular chip that said dealer on it. And at first he thought I was going to be offended. And I thought it was the funniest shit ever. So I said, yes, absolutely, I want that. And we put that on the memorial board too. And if you knew my husband, you would know that he would wear that like a badge of honor. So it wasn't as an insult to him, but more as something he would love. I also added the Tommy gun and the Al Capone photo to represent the lifestyle that he lived and loved. And even though I don't live that kind of life anymore, he definitely couldn't live without it. So this was a perfect memorial for him. I tried like hell to get another one of those games, but I couldn't. So I made my daughter one that resembled his and mine. And I don't remember who wanted this, but I remember talking about the dead man's hand in a poker game, which is the 2 black 8s and the 2 black aces. And we put that on the board. I hope this gives you lots of ideas for a memorial board that you can make for people that you love that have passed away. My memorial board cost me probably $15 altogether because I got almost everything from a Goodwill or a resale shop. My son's was probably about the same amount, and my daughter's too. With Samhain being the new year, we have a lot in store for the following year that we will be announcing coming up in the next couple weeks. One of the things I could tell you about is I will be teaching how to make a memento mori box. I will be showing how to make this in my YouTube channels coming up, and it will be for free. And then I have a more intimate version that you can purchase on my website. So if you're interested, please like and subscribe, and you will hear about all the new and upcoming events that we have planned for 2025. And please let me know in the comments how you did your altar this year. I would love to hear all the different ideas that people have. I have 2 more videos that I will be posting in the next week or so keep a lookout for them. And until next time, stay blessed, sweet souls.